Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the final conference of the BOOST5 project. I wish to apologize for a slight delay due to some technical difficulties. My name is Marko Vukelić, and on behalf of the Stepri Science and Technology Park of the University of Rijeka, the City of Rijeka, and the entire BOOST5 project consortium, I wish to thank the Mayor, Mr. Marko Filipović, the Mayor of the City of Rijeka, for attending and supporting our event, just like I wish to thank Mr. Davide de Bradanini, the General Consul of the Republic of Italy in Rijeka, for his contribution to our event. I wish to greet all the guests and speakers that joined us here today in person in Rijeka City Hall, just like I wish to greet all our participants that joined us online. We are proud to say that this event is also a partner event of the EU Green Week initiative that is focused on supporting sustainable development. The topic that brought us all here today is boosting sustainable tourism by valorizing our rich cultural and natural heritage. So today you will meet the BOOST5 project that we were implementing for the last 12 months. You will learn more about EU project's role in supporting sustainable and more balanced territorial development. You will witness a successful case of cultural valorization, the house of the Halubaj bell ringer. You will learn about best practices and useful tools for exploiting natural and cultural roots. You will hear about the potential project ideas and funding opportunities for the forthcoming period. And you will also meet the Cross-border Observatory, an initiative enabling coordinated management of cultural and natural heritage in the Adriatic region. Before we start with the presentations, I will kindly invite Mr. Marko Filipović, the Mayor of Rijeka, to address the audience.
Thank you so much, first of all, to inviting me to this event and to closing conference on this BOOST5 project, and I hope that you had the chance to visit our city a little bit and feel the energy of the city in this, not just today, but in these few days. Of course, the theme of this project is very important for our city because the tourism is one of the key pillars of the economy of the city. Not just the economy of the city of Rijeka, but also Croatia. I think the 18% of national GDP is tourism in one or another way. And in this sense, we have to be very careful about the heritage that we have, especially here in the city. The city of Rijeka was always the city on the border. In last 100 years, we changed 7 states. And we didn't move much on the geographical map or on the globus. So practically the heritage is all over the city, and we try to preserve it in the best possible way as we can. And I think that you should definitely visit some of the spots, and probably there are in the program some of the best spots to see and to visit in Rijeka. Of course, I'm glad that this project brings all of us together to see what are the best examples and practices inside not just European Union countries, but also in Europe. And when we talk about tourism, we need to talk about the sustainability of tourism, because the tourism is taking more and more part, not just in the economical part, but also in the social dimension of the city. It's more and more tourists are coming, 40% just in Rijeka regards the last year, and last year we had a 30% more than the last year. So it's a question where all these tourists will come, not just in Rijeka, but in all the cities in Europe, and we are facing the problem of total tourism. Total tourism means that the cities, the parts of, I don't know, I know the facts for Tuscany because I also participated in some program, that the biggest German tour operator physically bought some of the houses and places in Tuscany, and he's paying those people to work there or to live there, better to say to live there, and to give the tourists the authenticity of this place, because tourists like authenticity. But the question is, where are the people to ensure this authenticity of the, I don't know, islands in Croatia, parts of Italy? Who is going to produce the wine? Who is going to work in the vineyards? Who is going to do that? Because Europe, of course, faces some challenges due to demographic, not just in Croatia, but all over. So this is the question that needs to have some answers. And investment in the heritage that we have is maybe the best way. I sincerely hope that you are going to visit not just the City Museum, but also the Children's House, also some of the old factory. It was before the factory of tobacco, later it was a machine factory, and now it's a space of culture, it's a space of children. It's going to be a new living room of the city. And city is always changing. This is the message that I want to send today. And we have to find a way, and maybe the best way is to use European funds to see the new energy, the new things that can happen in the city, and this is the responsibility of all of us. Firstly, the people that are elected on the, of course, elections, not just as a mayor, but also the city councillors, to see what is the future of the city, not just in Rijeka, but all over the Europe. We are facing now the inflation, the energy crisis, and practically we now have a situation where two countries are in war. One is economy size of Spain and one economy size of Slovakia. And this is Russia and Ukraine today. And whole world is practically shaking, and we don't know where we're going. And this is only 3% of world GDP. What would happen if some other countries are in war, not just 3% of world GDP? So this is the questions, maybe a little bit broader perspective on this problem, but I wanted to share it with you because I think it's very important. And always in every situation like war today, and which Europe faces 70 years after the last war on the European soil, if we don't count, of course, the war in Croatia, which happened 30 years ago, so we have some experience about that. And this is the question that European Parliament, European Commission, I mean, all the countries together need to have the answers. Maybe I was a little bit broader in my view, but I think it's valuable to share these thoughts with you. I wish you, of course, a successful conference, conclusions, and of course to see you again in Rijeka, not just as a conference, attending the conference, but also as a tourist and our dear guests. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Filipović, for these valuable insights. I will now kindly invite Mr. Davide Bradanini, the General Consul of the Republic of Italy in Rijeka, to take the floor and share a couple of words. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear Mayor, dear guests, dear stakeholders of the BOOST5 project, I'm very glad to be here with you, and I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to give a few words in this final event of the project. As the Mayor just said, now Italy and Croatia really share some critical issues on sustainable tourism. I have had the honor and the privilege to work here in the city of Rijeka, Fiume, for the last 3 years as General Consul of the Republic of Italy. The consulate has a territorial competence which encompasses the whole of the Croatian coast, so from northern Istria to southern Dalmatia, the city of Dubrovnik. So let's say that these 3 years have been for me a precious opportunity to touch firsthand not only what Italy and Croatia share from a historical, cultural, social, political, economic point of view, but also really the critical point of sustainable tourism, which Italy has been facing for many decades, but also Croatia, I have seen over the last 3 years. The Interreg program is really a unique opportunity that is given to us by the European Commission and the European institutions to tackle this project, this issue. For the 2021-2027 period, the Italy-Croatia Interreg program has 172 million euros at its disposal, and the third goal that has been jointly agreed, as you well know, is precisely the valorization of cultural heritage through sustainable and diversified touristic products. This is really a key challenge for both our states. At the political level, I would like to share with you some of the recent, what has been going on at the political level between Italy and Croatia. The issue of sustainable tourism has been a key component of the annual Committee of Ministries that takes place each year, once in Italy, once in Croatia. The next session will be in Zagreb in the autumn of this year, and a working group on sustainable tourism has been set up to tackle this challenge on a bilateral level, and I hope that some of the lessons from this project can also be encompassed in that political discussion. In this context, let me say that Italy appreciates Croatia's role in the area of sustainable tourism, in particular Croatia's presidency of the EU strategy for the Adriatic and Ionian region, which will be a great chance to discuss this issue. In a few days, on the 21st of June, a high-level forum of the EU strategy for the Adriatic and Ionian region conference on sustainable nautical tourism will take place. And this will be a unique chance to discuss the impacts of nautical tourism on resources and the importance of the protection and preservation of the Adriatic Sea as a vital tourism resource. Lastly, but not in terms of importance, let me say that the Italian national community in the city, in this country, is also a resource from this point of view, because it, let's say, embodies by itself a form of cultural heritage that is a bridge between our two countries, but is also a dynamic part of this country. And I truly hope that the resources which the Italian national community, through the Italian Union, which is represented here in this room, and I would like to greet Mr. Marincorva, President of the Executive of the Italian Union, will use some of the resources from the Croatian state, from local and regional authorities, and from the Italian state to help tackle this issue. Because the Italian national community lives in many of the areas that are affected by the political and social problems that the mayor was talking about a while ago. So thank you very much, and I truly hope that this meeting today and the project will be a part of the solution of the many interlocking issues that face us on this theme. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bradanini, for these kind words. I will now invite a gentleman representing our lead organization, Mr. Davide de Nicolo from Tecnopolis Science and Technology Park. He will join us online on this occasion in order to present us briefly the BOOST5 project. Mr. de Nicolo, hope you can hear us well.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Feel free to share your presentation.
Thank you very much. Just a second. I will do like this because I'm...
We can see the presenters.
Just a second. Is it okay now?
Yes, excellent.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mario. So, dear Major, dear General Consul, dear stakeholders, and dear partners, I address you with deep disappointment at my absence from the final event of the Interreg Italy-Croatia and BOOST5 project, which is currently being held in Rijeka. I sincerely wish to apologize for not being able to be present and represent the project lead role. Unfortunately, an unexpected event beyond my control caused a significant delay to my flight, preventing me from reaching my destination in time for the event and from being able to return to Bari today, as we have other BOOST5 project activities to complete in the coming days. Despite all efforts made to avoid this situation, I spent many hours at Roma Fiumicino Airport, which is, I can say, a nice tourist destination, waiting for a solution, but unfortunately without success. I fully understand the importance of the final event and the opportunity to share the results and conclusion of our project. I deeply regret not being able to attend in person and interact directly with you and with other attendees. After months and months of working remotely, I really understood even more the importance of face-to-face relationships and importance of face-to-face project meetings. Indeed, I firmly believe in the importance of tight collaboration between our two nations. I will continue to support the implementation and success of the project in the best possible way. So, sustainable tourism, enhancement of innovative cultural itineraries focused on accessibility, relocation of tourist flow towards lesser-known attraction. This was the challenge of the BOOST5 project, and today we can say that we have achieved our objectives. When we set up the team of these fantastic partners to capitalize the best results achieved by the five projects previously founded by the Interreg Italy-Croatia program, we intended to share a common methodology among the 8 Adriatic partners and ensure the revitalization and enhancement of the natural and culture of the territories involved, as well as the awareness of knowledge of the cultural and natural heritage of the minor territories protagonists of the new thematic itineraries. I'm thinking here of all the activities organized by the partners, which have allowed not only us, but the whole European panorama concerned to get to know and explore lesser known and little known places, above all through study visits and journalist visits. Tomorrow, for example, we as Tecnopolis will have our journalist visit to Accadia, which is a small village in the Monti Dauni, in the north of Apulia region, which is the subject of a 20 million euro European loan for its requalification and tourism relaunch. We will do this activity together with the regional agency and the Puglia region itself. Through the BOOST5, we have therefore created an inventory of minor and cultural naturalistic assets to map the richness of the area between Italy and Croatia. Today, I want to introduce you the community map implemented by the partner Filipović, and which is itself the subject of capitalization of the Atlas projects. As you can see, it is very simple and intuitive. By clicking on a point of the map, you can find all the information that has been entered. But our interest has also been aimed at enhancing the innovative services managed by SMEs, also through the involvement of local communities. We have organized masterclass program to expand the knowledge and the skills of tourist actors involved in the various sectors of the tourist offer by telling new methods and skills to relaunch a tourist destination. Even today, we receive a message of compliments for this activity from people who continue to watch the masterclass videos. We have carried out transnational co-design workshop with the aim of being ready for the 21-27 programming period. And I would really like to thank everyone and apologize again for not being able to be there today. This means that with the end of this project, it will not be a farewell, but a simple goodbye, because I'm sure that we will still continue to work together by capitalizing on the results obtained by BOOST5. So thank you, and good luck to everyone.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. de Nicolo, for this overview of the project. Have a pleasant rest of the program. I will now invite a speaker that will also join us online, Ms. Anka Daniela Simion, from the Joint Secretariat of the Interreg Italy-Croatia program, in scope of which BOOST5 is actually co-financed. Ms. Simion, thank you for joining us. Hope you can hear us well also.
Apologizes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can
Excellent.
you hear? I don't know. I had to take an urgent call. Is it my turn now?
Yes, it's
Or
it's your
maybe
turn.
I misunderstood something.
No problem. Feel free to start your presentation.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sorry, Mario, your microphone is mute in Zoom.
No, it's not. Can you hear me? Maybe they lost the connection with us, but we can hear you. We will try to write them in the chat that we can hear them and that they can start with the presentation. Just a second, please. I will try once again. Can you hear me now, maybe? Yes, excellent.
Yes.
Sorry for this delay. Ms. Simeon, you are free to start your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you also. Good morning on my side. My name is Anka Daniela Simion and I'm project manager within the Joint Secretariat of Interreg Italy-Croatia. And of course, I had the pleasure to work with BOOST team all along the implementation. Let me start by, first of all, expressing my appreciation for the work of the project, which has been always timely, which has always been of a high quality. And of course, this means that prerequisites have been laid for relevant results to be achieved, results that are important not only for the regions, and this has been highly underlined by the speakers before me, and of course it is an honor and a pleasure to learn that that there is a possibility to bring some inputs to a topic that is now very much debated, which is sustainable tourism. So again, please receive my appreciation for the work, and of course we look forward to the results that already can be seen. I also would like to congratulate the organizers for this event and the choice of the topic being of high relevance. Now, what I'm going to do is to, first of all, try to stay within the time slot that is allocated, because it is an important conference and enough space, enough room has to be allowed to all speakers. And then I'm going to provide you some insights into our program, some novelties. And of course, we do hope that that they are of interest for you in your future activity. So I am now starting to share my screen. So I trust you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see your presentation. It's not in the full mode, but we can see.
You would like to move it in, like this?
Yes, excellent.
It's better?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, we can see. Thank
you. This is, this is, let's say, an overview of program Interreg Italy-Croatia. I mean, the one that we are now dealing with. So it is about 2 member states and a number of 97 approved project, which resulted in quite an impressive number of partnership, 800 project partnership. You can see on the screen several, let's say, milestones, if I can call them this way, which I'm not going to insist on. Maybe the most important one are those that 2021 was the year when the cluster project's call was launched, and we were happy to see the interest for these calls for all the clusters that have been launched. And of course, we are now in 2023, which represents a landmark, not only a milestone, as the current program is approaching its end. And so, of course, our projects are approaching their end, which is, of course, sad on one side, but it's, let's say, encouraging on the side of the results that they are bringing to the regions and to the program. I will then continue, and let me take you to something that is not only colored, but hopefully gives insights. So, because as you have seen, there has been a lot of work. The decision was made by the program to make the results available. And this is because these results, I mean, I call them results, but this is because maybe this is a terminology I'm using, but you can see behind this word that the results encompass a quite large idea, meaning partnerships, networks, pilot interventions, and several other things. And these have to be made available, have to be largely acknowledged. So you have here, and I kindly invite you to access our webpage, which is here, Italy-Croatia.eu/results, and you will see the very interesting organization which is on the left, so that you see that within these circles you can click inside them on a specific topic, and you will be able to retrieve and find all the results. And again, as said, and of course linking to the presentations and the speakers before me, they may represent well, an addition that our program is bringing, and also maybe some inspiration for the future, but definitely they are achievements that have been, let's say, put in place via a joint work program project. So kindly invite you to have a look at this novelty. Now let's continue with the next slide. Yeah, you can see it maybe here better. And you can see that it's not only about result, but it's about output typologies. And you will see here the different typologies that have been identified by us on the basis of the achievements of our projects. So yeah, this is how it looks like. I can assure you it's very interactive. It's absolutely user-friendly. It's nice and interesting. Yeah, let's continue. And of course, we are now here within the context of the cluster call. And you can see on screen that and I think it was also mentioned by Mr. De Nicolo before, that it's building on experiences of previous standard plus and standard projects. So this was the idea, to bring this experience into the light. And to consolidate the results achieved and increase the knowledge base. As mentioned, we had five thematic areas for our cluster project, and 1 cluster project per topic was expected to be financed, so to allow these synergies with the projects. Nevertheless, facilitation of transfer is important for the cluster projects. Okay, so it is about Italy-Croatia cluster number 3, which is called Joint Development of Thematic Cultural Roots. I'm having this slide in front of you just as a kind, let's say, overview, if you want, that this call was having a very complex nature, and the idea was to have, let's say, not only innovation but also transferability within this, and also the most important thing is the development of project ideas in line with the new program. So you can see here the broad scope that was meant, which indeed is in line with building knowledge, creating knowledge, transferring knowledge, and preparing for the current project. And of course, in order to achieve this, it has been agreed that the thematic activities will be organized along these lines, which refer to exchange and exploitation of project results, contribution to next programming period, awareness raising and engagement, because as it has been mentioned, and it is also our strong belief, all the achievements must be brought to the territory and must be made well known. Based on the capitalization that is envisaged for the cluster project, and based on the workshop that was held on December 19 last year, it was decided that BOOST5 project will be capitalizing these outputs, meaning Cross-border Observatory, toolkit for strengthening the capacity of SMEs, and platform, these being the projects on which BOOST5 is currently building knowledge on. And because we are speaking about capitalization, within the meaning that is given currently implies that there is something achieved which can be transferred and uptaken further on. So we speak about transfer and uptake. Therefore, the decision was made for these three outputs, as they encompass these characteristics, being in addition extremely innovative. Now, of course, capitalization is the bridge to the current program, Italy-Croatia 21-27, and you can see on screen that this is a crucial objective and ongoing process, and it is a demand-driven approach. Of course, this takes me to the new program, because I was saying in the beginning that we will be speaking about the new program, and I'm sure that you are familiar with it, but just to have it on screen, you can see that we are envisaging 5 priorities, so blue economy, green and resilient shared environment, maritime multimodal transport, culture and tourism remains for sustainable development, remains an important topic, and then integrated governance for stronger cooperation. So you can also see to the right what it is expected to be financed in terms of large activities for each of the priorities. And of course, you see that for culture, the idea is to enhance the role of culture and sustainable tourism in economic development, social inclusion, and social innovation. So we have some keywords here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was not what I meant to do, but we can return to this. And okay, so this is a glimpse, an insight into how the program budget is organized. So you can see it is about a budget of over 200 million, out of which the European contribution is 172 million and national co-financing 43 million. And yeah, we can see that, for instance, for the priority that is of interest for us today, it is about 41 million euro, out of which we speak about 31 million euro EU contribution. Now, what is it new in our program? Well, first of all, the fact that there is this program, it's something important. But in terms of projects, we can see that we have a very diverse typology because we are having not only standard projects, but we are having small-scale projects, we are having operation of strategic importance. We plan to use the simplified cost option as a simplification in implementation. Of course, you can see that we are using already GEMS. This aspect of communication strategy embedded in thematic activity is very important because it is not only based on the current orientations from the European Commission that communication and management no longer represent standalone work packages, but they are embedded as to better contribute to the work packages. So therefore, if we return to the idea of today, which is sustainable tourism, definitely having communication within work packages would definitely boost the communication efforts and enhance the scalability of results. Of course, it's focused on capitalization. Again, this is definitely in line with what has been researched, what has been said, and on foundations that are already put in place. Nevertheless, importance of synergies among EU funds remains of crucial importance due to the fact that, yeah, we all live and work in the European Union, and so we all need to bring our contribution and understand what others are doing. This is this is about the operation of strategic importance, and I included them in today's presentation because they represent a very specific topic, and they are very important for our programs. And of course, you can see here that they are basically possible, including in a specific objective for one. Now, returning to, again, what we are talking about today, what you see on screen now are just a few, let's say, keywords that are important when we speak about Interreg Italy-Croatia 2021-2027 and the achievements that are planned. So you see that important results are lowered regional vulnerability to tourism, wider diffusion of sustainable, alternative, and special interest tourism. Again, results that are based on in-depth discussions with stakeholders, with projects, and confirmed by the experience so far. Therefore, focus shall be placed on the sustainable tourism actions, on access to cultures through digitalization, smart and sustainable tourism destination management strategies, and information campaigns and trainings. We can continue along this idea because we have several results, and we see that it's about more strategic and coordinated management of tourism in the area, stronger capitalization, valorization, and preservation of tangible and intangible cultural heritage, which should be envisaged via, let's say, the things or the aspects or the keywords that are seen on the right side of our slide, represented by innovative digital solutions, thematic networks, cross-border exchange, promotion of sustainable and innovative tourism, joint cultural valorization. So you see, again, this innovation is really holding, an important place alongside sustainable tourism. And we still have a result because it's well known that everything can be achieved or should be achieved with qualified human resources in the sector, which now is, let's say, added to green and digital upskilling to ensure resilient and sustainable jobs in the sector. So this is, let's say, the overall context that the program is envisaging when referring to the jobs in the tourism sector. Yeah, we had the first call of proposals, well, for the first call of proposal, it's not, I mean, we had standard projects and small scale projects. They ended at different moments. So we can only say that in terms of small scale project, this is a new form of cooperation with shorter durations, supporting smaller partnership and limited scope intervention. Again, to allow, let's say, all interested stakeholders that belong to this category to have a say in this world of sustainable tourism. Different from these are the standard projects, those that we are already familiar with. However, maybe it's important to highlight here that well, the current concept starts from acknowledgement of a need or a potential and then testing a cross-border solution. Well, I'm presenting you the outcomes for the small scale project because for the standard, we are still working and well, we still need time to have the final results. But anyway, I think it is important to know that 32 proposals were received for small scale projects. You can see that out of them, quite important are those for culture and tourism in 4.1. And they follow closely the governance, and then there is environment. We can see that we are speaking about 87 partners, out of which 21 are Italian lead partners, 11 are Croatian lead partners. And per sector, we can still see that, of course, there is a large predominance of public sector, followed at a large distance by private non-profit and private for-profit. Well, in terms of standard projects, it's even more impressive because we are speaking about 161 proposals with a number of more than 1,000 project partners, a total budget requested of more than 300 million. And in terms of overview or breakdown, we are speaking about 107 Italian lead partners, 54 lead partners Croatian, public sector, again, having, let's say, a predominant share within this image, as we are having more than 100 lead partners from the private sector, followed by 13 and 4 for the others. You can see here that for 4.1, by far, this is the largest number of project proposals. So again, we do thank our project for their interest and we highly appreciate their effort. And yeah, we hope to be able to, to soon come back with news on this. So then we have protection of nature, climate change, almost equal. And then we have research and innovation and cross-border mobility. So we are glad that all these activities or policy objectives, if you want, under specific objectives, were of interest for our project. This is, of course, the official timeline that is now available on the revised program website, but just, well, to see that the plan is for the small-scale projects to start in July. We are very close to it, and to close in December next year, and standard to start in January 24. Of course, you do know that they have different durations of implementation. Just in case, because I can imagine that by now the results are maybe shared by the program, but you can see here, these are excerpts from the program website, and you can see that the outcomes of the quality assessment, as they were approved by the monitoring committee on 17th of May 2023, And also one step further for the eligibility, we have a decision from the monitoring committee on 17th of May, results available on the new program website. Well, about, let's say, some mundane things, but yeah, just to please see them in the context of the program, wishing to come closer to the projects. And therefore, we have put in place a new flexibility rule, allowing for more, at the end of the day, more budget access, easier access to it, so that all the things that have been planned to be put in place. Again, I'm not insisting on it because it's day-to-day work, but together with my colleagues, we are here to support in this new rule. And of course, project closure fact sheet, it's here because it has been updating, meaning that, again, under this new flexibility rule, there is a possibility if there are activities that are implemented and for which some costs, in addition from those envisaged, were incurred, therefore there is this this possibility of the partner's total budget to be exceeded. This is, let's say, also possible, and of course, as I said, more detailed and concrete implementation is something that that can be discussed upon. There has already been such an attempt, and we have collected the inputs, and of course these are now processed. Okay, again, these are the major things, and maybe here what it's important, it's because it's important to highlight is the fact that all our projects will end on 30th of June 2023 with no possibility of derogation. Yeah, due to the commitments and the procedure that is required for all programs vis-a-vis the European Commission and end of 2023, meaning that we are now within a very important and intense month of work for all our projects. And again, this implies a very strong cooperation with us as a program and increased efforts so that everything is achieved until 30th of June 2023, which of course will mean that during this summer, July, August, September will be busy months to work on the closure aspects. And yeah, we are here together so that we can streamline and smooth the procedure as much as possible, so that 30th of September 2023 will bring us all in front of projects with very good achievements. And just not to end in this sad note of closure things, you see on screen in front of you the indicative timeline of calls for the new program, which is again available on the new program website. So you and us hopefully will be very busy up until 2026 with several calls for proposals. You can see that for one, for instance, is, let's say, specific objectives that is all through the calls considered, addressed. So we hope that this remains of high interest, and again, let's stay busy until 2026 because this is the most important thing. And with this, I would very much like to thank you for your attention. I would very much like to congratulate you for the event. And yeah, we are here for any support you may need. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Simeon, for this interesting presentation. Looking forward to meeting you again, and I wish you enjoy the rest of the program and the rest of the day. What comes next is an example of good practice in valorizing cultural heritage. I kindly invite Mr. Dominik Damisch from the House of the Halubaj bell ringer to take the stage and present his initiative.
Hello, my name is Dominik. I'm Dominik Damisch. I'm representing the new culture project in the region. It's after a few years planning and implementing. It's right now it's in final stage of building it, and it's going to be a new cultural project, also helping for the tourism economy here in the region. And it's situated about several kilometers above from Rijeka in the municipality of Viškovo. It's based on several centuries old tradition of the bell ringers from the region of Halubaj and Kastav. And it's called, in the institution, it's going to be called the House of Halubajski Zvončari. It's the well-known bell ringers here from the region, well-known also in the region and also in the wider region. And before I start a little bit presentation, I will just show you a glimpse about what are the bell ringers and what the house is going to be looking like. Let's go. So, as you have seen, Viškovo is the host of a unique tradition. It's based only in Viškovo, in the region of Viškovo, Halubaj, Kastav. It's the annual carnival pageant of the Halubajski Zvončari, the bell ringers from the region. And the most important fact of this is also that it's on the list of the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. We are trying to preserve and present the tradition of the Halubaj ringers because it's our tradition. It's several hundred years old. And the house and the Viškovo is going to be the new capital of the UNESCO tradition, because not only the bell ringers, that means the tradition of the bell ringers, is under UNESCO protections, but we are also hosting another 3 UNESCO heritages, not only on Viškovo, but also in the region. For example, we have the 2-part singing and playing in the Eastern scale, which is also based for Viškovo, but also for the whole region. The third one is the art of dry stone walling, as well as the Mediterranean diet on the Croatian Adriatic coast and islands. And all these UNESCO heritage is going to be presented, of course, beside the bell ringers also in the museum. The bell ringers pigeon have not only been preserved in the Castor area, it's not only preserved in the Castor area, but it's also a symbol of local identity or local tradition. Not everyone is familiar with that fact, but this is our tradition. We have lots of people not only trying to preserve the tradition from the, let's say, when they are working, that we have children incorporated in the tradition, incorporated in the preserving of that, our bell ringers. And it's resulted in the fact that they have managed to put it under UNESCO protection. On the other hand, we have also local people who are appreciating traditional values in the active way, this is the symbol of it. But we have also local people which are working with us in preserving that. And House of the Bell Ringers, that means Kuća Halubajskog zvončara, which is the local Croatian name, is going to be a new meeting point, a new how do you say it, capital of all the tradition in our village. And when we are talking about the House of the Bell Ringers, it's right now in building. It's going to be done until the end of the year, and we are hoping that from next year this is going to be open to the public. It's situated on over 3,000 square meters. It has 3 levels. The first and the second level is, of course, for the bell ringers, for the tradition, for the presentation as a museum. And on the third level, we have also the facility. For example, there is a facility of the Association of the Bell Ringers. We have also a meeting point, a meeting room, and we have also a restaurant. There is also going to be outside of the building a great space, an outdoor park with special facilities, of course, for the children, with special facilities presenting the bell ringers with its statues and everything else. And we hope that it's going to be a new meeting point, not only for us from Viškovo, but also for the whole region and all the guests and tourists coming to the region. This is a new cultural project, and it's very significant and very important for us. And as we are talking about some ways of using, we are trying to build the facility which is going to be multi-purpose use. So as I mentioned, it has exhibition place for the museum, but we are also going to organize lots of educational workshops, lectures, gastronomic presentation, events, of course based on the tradition and also implementing the tradition in new ways. We are creating a new touristic product, so we are going to cooperate, of course, with all the tourist industry in the region and hopefully also beyond it. And as I mentioned, at the moment it's right now in the building, and until the end of the year it's going to be done, and the great opening is going to be from the next year, from the beginning. And as I forget to mention, the bell ringers is not significant for the whole year. The tradition starts on the St. Anthony on the 17th of January, and it's always lasting until the last Sunday before the Asha Wednesday. So this is tradition of the bell ringers. They know for centuries, the last 3 days, they know for centuries on which time, on which day they're going to be in which village in Viškovo. And if you have time, especially the last 3 days of the carnival time, to visit us in Viškovo, it starts, I don't know, in 5 in the morning until the evening. You can get the schedule where you can see in the natural like they used to be several centuries ago. You can see it in the nature, you can see it going through the villages, you can see the tradition and preserving it. And of course, in the house of the bell ringers, we are going to preserve the story about the bell ringers and all the other stories the whole year through, because it's, of course, it's a touristic destination we hope to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Damiš, for presenting this very interesting project in the house of the Halubaj bell ringer. We wish you all the luck with finalizing the project. And now, before we continue, we are going to have a short break, during which we will be able to meet the regions the partners are coming from. The short break will last for 15 minutes. Thank you for your attention so far, and see you in 15 minutes.
Ti aspettiamo nelle Marche.
Couldn't find a place where no one could see us. Couldn't find a place to make it our own. Bring all your dogs and clothes place and seeds and help them to grow. To go and find a place where heaven is near us. Way to go. Sign your subscription to feel there's nothing can stop us. Give all your hands to friends who come here alone. To go and find a place, 'cause beauty within us knows where to go. Hold on to what you believe is what is your dearest. Save all your neighbors and kins, we're coming along. To go and find a place where no one can see us. Where to go? A way to go. Way to go. Way to go.
Hey Bella, how you doing?
Michael, you won't believe me. I just woke up in a timeless place, a medieval village with a magical atmosphere. Between the sky and the earth, I can see the shades of blue and green, snowy landscape, mountains, rolling hills, and a crystal clear sea. I plunge into quietness. And then, within a short distance from here, there are treasure chests full of art, history, culture, and ancient tradition. Life has come to a complete standstill. The days unfold slowly, and only now I do realize what my destiny is. I feel immersed in the beauty, in the silence of nature, the enchantment of landscape. Here the air is pure and fresh, and there is a treasure to be discovered, a view to be admired, a dish to be enjoyed, and a wine to be savored in every place. The history of Italy is around me. It's incredible. I'm surrounded by fascinating territories where life is endowed with the spirit and places of the soul, but also with sincerity and a lot of kindness. Here, I will never feel lonely. Michael, I'm sorry, I have to go.
Marche, disconnect your mind.
Content realized thanks to the contribution of Scopre le Marche and Ragione Marche for the valorization of territory.
Visit Italy.eu.
Welcome to a land of beauty and science, shaped by different ideas and cultures. Our curiosity is boundless, and from DNA to the infinitely small, we aim to discover all the secrets of the universe. We spread mobility of knowledge, promoting international cooperation through a network of scientific excellence. With applied research, we attract new investments, and we team up with business leaders and the public to tackle the challenges of our future. We act for a bigger purpose. We value sustainability because we are strong innovators. And we care about the coming generations and the future of our planet. Welcome to our land. Welcome to Friuli Venezia Giulia.
Dear all, welcome back to the final conference of the BOOST5 project. I will now invite our partners and experts to present some key outputs of the project. First, I invite Ms. Ana Pejdo from University of Zadar to present us examples of best practice and available tools for exploiting natural and cultural routes. Please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mario. Hello to everybody. In the first part of our lectures, we heard some, let's say, introduction on the project itself, on what have we done and what we need to do in order to conclude. And also we saw some valuable examples from the region on cultural heritage and probably an asset that could be involved in one of the future cultural routes within this region. We all here are gathered because of the BOOST5 project, and we well know what is its purpose and what we try to achieve. According to the 5 projects that already have been implemented and have their results visible in the regions that we live in, we decided to see what has been done and what can be applied for future projects and how our regions, our places and our tourism can look maybe in the future if we try to assess and apply some of the knowledges we acquired during these 5 projects. Maybe to say something in general about the tourism. We all know that it affects our everyday lives, and we are also at the moment in one of the tourist regions in the Republic of Croatia. But if we look at from about, and if we maybe compare Croatia with the European Union, and if we look at the data available on the Eurostat, we see that 56% of all EU residents at least once a year take a personal trip. So they are our public, and the things that we do, practically we do because of them. But if we see these numbers, they are very huge, and we need to be very careful how to develop tourism and how to, let's say, distribute them in the regions we live in. If we see also the data that majority or almost the half of the all EU residents that took trips in the EU took short domestic trips, then maybe we see opportunity for all the cultural routes that we may develop as, let's say, one of the outputs of this project can be applied and can be designed not only for foreign tourists, but also for our domestic tourists, both in Italy and Croatia. Tourism in our 2 countries is very important, and we do know that not only because it's visible in our day's life, but also because of the statistics. If you look at the presentation we have here showing the tourism destinations and the share of nights spent by international guests in 2021 in Italy and Croatia, you see the shares that we have in Italy and Croatia that are one of the largest within the European Union. We discussed a lot the topic of tourism both as a threat and as an opportunity. If we talk about tourism as an opportunity, then we always talk about sustainable tourism. And even though tourism represents around 92% of the economic value of sea-related activities and in the Mediterranean, we unfortunately know that it, at the moment, maybe, in some circumstances, gives us much more threats than the opportunities, and the projects like this, the project BOOST5 and the projects that were done before the BOOST5 are, let's say, good examples of how maybe we can turn this number and start to develop tourism in a different direction, in a more sustainable direction, having in mind that both economy, local prosperity, employment, equity, resource management, biological diversity. These are all the, let's say, small items that we need to have in mind while developing something that is called a route in tourism. And according to one of the definitions I found, if we look at the route, especially one that is, let's say, mainly cultural, but as you all may know, throughout this project, we developed first an inventory of heritage, and we didn't focus only on the cultural assets. We also focused on the natural ones, since if we go into a region, and if we combine both natural and cultural, and if we, let's say, distribute our tourists in a way that they practically, they know everything nowadays. They have intranet, they are very, very well connected, and aside the dominant tourist routes, and let's say our towns, especially like, for example, town of Rijeka now, they are the center of our tourism. But we need to disperse the tourism activity. We need to send them on the locations such as the one that was previously showed to us by a colleague here from Biškovo, and to design new technologies in order to allow them to discover the region and in a way to transform the tourism in a new direction. Providing our tourists with new information, not only on the things they knew and they could very easily come and visit, but to disperse them because we gave them relevant information on what they could see. One of the basic, let's say, intentions of this project was that we develop a model and that we see what have we done in the former projects and now throughout BOOST5, can it be implemented in other regions? Can you, if you have design, if you implement it, if you try to perform something, and what's very important, if you try to evaluate it and see whether it's good or not. And I think the former projects such as Revival, Tempus, Atlas, Made Inland, they showed that they have potential not only for the assets and the regions they were performed, but also that what we have done there and what we have done throughout BOOST5, such as designing high-level event contributions, inventory of heritage, both natural and cultural, thematic best practice catalogs, and master classes programs. Can this be, in a way, capitalized and on these, let's say, 6 pillars implemented in Italy-Croatia, but maybe even wider, for example, Central Europe or other parts of Europe, maybe even other touristic regions, settlements outside of the Europe. What is very important, probably our next speakers will tell us more about, is are we coherent with the strategies and priorities? Were we successful and can our solutions be validated? And I think we proved this is so. And are they ready to use? And what is maybe on top of this list? All of us here who implemented the former projects and now done some work on BOOST5, together we are all here, and maybe as a future partners or as someone that could only help with advice to other potential stakeholders, we are the ones that are the givers, but also available here, as I said, for future cooperation, but also for trying to see how others can cope with similar difficulties. One of the, aside Atlas platform that colleague already mentioned, we designed, the partners on the project designed 4 different master classes. Here are the titles. I will not read them, but only if you look the titles, but if you look the topics, cultural sustainable tourism, certification of going green, of going sustainable, one of the very important assets nowadays, because the tourist, when he or she is coming to a destination, they also want to be sustainable and to impact the environment as little as possible, and probably in the future they will choose more destinations that are sustainable, and we need to learn how to be that. Also, new promotional campaigns, so everything done, if you do it for a group of people and you do not advertise it, probably will not be used in the future by others, even though it can be a good product. Also, communicating new vision of local landscape, meaning if we change the landscape and the community because of the tourism, I think the main idea is that we are not doing it only for the benefits of tourism, but also for the benefit of local population. I think that's probably the main issue that we will discuss on all our future projects. How the tourism affects local population, and in what sense, when you travel the landscape, how do you experience it, and in what way do you interact with the community and the territory? The higher the interaction is and the connection, the more possible is that you will wish to return to a location. If we look at the current maybe researches or some data on tourism, people travel more and more. They travel maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year, but stay shorter periods, and the idea is to get your visitor back again, not to come only once, see, visit, and never returns, and also to make the invisible visible, what I already discussed today. Throughout the project, maybe a couple of pictures from what we have done. We recognize ourselves on the picture. This was maybe, let's say, a route that we can, that is already implemented and used in Zadar region. But what I tried to show with this and the next picture is that even though it was not summer, it was rather cold, it was January, we had strong Bora wind, but I think we succeeded in showing you the essence of the region, what it represents, and no matter how bad the weather was, maybe you will wish to come back. Or on the other side, what we saw in Italy, tourism is not only about showing an asset, whether it's a cultural or natural, it's about storytelling, it's about gastronomy, is about offering new experiences. So these are the, let's say, topics that we need to be focused in the future. So what's the solution maybe? To implement new solutions for future tourism development, all need to be included, not from the local, regional to the upper level. That's maybe one of the most important things we discussed. If we implement something on one level, can it be also implemented on the other? And how to have, let's say, so win-win cooperation. How can tourism be good for all, not only for the tourist or not only for the local population, not only for those earning monies. Very often we hear, I don't like tourism because it devastated the environment I live in, and it does not provide anything for me personally, because not all population is involved into tourism. So by developing other related activities, we can, let's say, succeed in creating innovative territorial management system. So if I may conclude, I think that BOOST5 already has a very, very important history based on the 5 projects that are already implemented and that very well valorize both cultural, off-road, industrial, and natural heritage. And what I think exactly this idea that we did not deal with the assets that are already known by everybody. For example, when one of our study visits was going to Villa Manin, for example, me personally, I was very much surprised how many beautiful cultural heritage Italy has that I had never heard of and probably would not if it was not for this project. But I hope as an output, more people will get to know these, let's say, hidden gems, both in Italy and Croatia. And in the future, we all need to stay focused on the challenges of unequally developed tourist destination. Someone isolated, abandoned, a heritage that didn't have so much good promotion until now. But I think these joint strategies that are implemented in the BOOST5 can change that in the future. So thanks from me and Larissa.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ms. Peido, for this extraordinary presentation and valuable insights. We will continue now with another online speaker, Ms. Rachele Ruggero from SWEM, the development agency of Marke region. Good day, Ms. Ruggero. Hope you can hear us.
Hello, good morning. Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, hello, we can hear you well. Also, feel free to start your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mario, and I would like to thank and greet all the participants that are in Rijeka, and I'm really sorry that I cannot be there with you today. So, let me share my screen. So, today I'm going to present you some of the inputs within the BOOST5 projects that are coming from the activity to create some new project within the funding opportunities that are available for 2021 and 2027 programming period. So as the previous speakers also anticipated, within the BOOST5 project, project partners decided to introduce some concrete actions for the co-creation of new projects that could be implementing in the new programming period, and by tackling the contemporary challenges that we are facing. So, as already presented, the project implementation was focused on the collection and analysis of best practice in the field of cultural roots, involving all the relevant stakeholders, and to really understand and exploit the system, as well as providing stakeholders with some tools and knowledge to promote networking, so to have a multiplier effect, and so that also the co-creation of projects could be on a long-term, adaptive, and continuously innovative basis. So a key point for us was to better monitor and understand the needs of tourist SMEs and stakeholders, so as to have a wider distribution of tourism flows on a geographical level, and to better respond also to unexpected and negative events that might affect the sector, like the COVID-19 pandemic or the recent war crisis. So despite the very limited duration of the project, some examples of new thematic cultural routes are presented in one of the deliverables of the project, the user appeal for cultural routes flagship papers. And it leverages on the BOOST5 deliverables that have been also created by other project partners, like the inventory of heritage and minor territories and the thematic best practice catalog that have just been presented by Ms. Peggio, and as well as the white paper on identifying financial opportunities for the next programming period. So in particular, as we can see, this flagship paper focuses on the user pillar 4. So what is user? So user is the EU strategy for the Adriatic and Ionian region, and it's a macro-regional strategy that was adopted by the European Commission and endorsed by the Council in 2014. So it was developed together by the Commission, the countries, and all the stakeholders who agreed to work together in some areas of common interest for the benefit of the country, the region as a whole, and for a better development. So in total, there are 4 different strategies. So there are also the Baltic Sea region strategy, the Danube region, and the Alpine region strategy. So user, in our case, covers 10 countries, 4 EU member states, Croatia, Greece, Italy, Slovenia, and 6 non-EU countries, with Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, North Macedonia, San Marino, and Serbia. So the general objective of the strategy is to promote economic and social prosperity and growth in the region by enhancing the attractiveness, competitiveness, and connectivity. So by strengthening cooperation, this also helps to promote political and economic stability, thus creating a solid basis for a European integration process and enlargement. So being a flexible and non-regulatory framework for cooperation, it provides also the space to address some existing but also emerging challenges in order to find common solutions, as in the case of the pandemic, but as well the recent conflict. The user has 4 different thematic pillars. There are blue growth, so aiming at boosting innovative marine and maritime growth by promoting job and business opportunities. Connecting the region, there is more linked to connectivity in terms of transport and energy. Environmental quality, so focusing on coastal and marine biodiversity and pollution of the sea, as well as on transnational terrestrial habitats and biodiversity. And last but not least, sustainable tourism, so that it aims at developing the full potential of the region in terms of innovative quality tourism while boosting businesses and creating stable jobs. Here in BOOST5, we decided to focus on sustainable tourism, so as to develop a sustainable and responsible tourism potential for the Adriatic and Ionian region through innovative and high-quality products and services. The specific objectives of this pillar are the diversification of the tourism offers of the micro-region, together with tackling the seasonal nature of demand for inland, coastal, and maritime tourism. And on the other hand, there is also improving the quality and innovation of the tourism offer and strengthening the sustainable and responsible capacities of stakeholders throughout the macro region. So here we can have a general overview of the different flagships that will help to reach this tourism diversity and to go towards a more sustainable tourism. Here in BOOST5, we focus especially on air cultural routes, so the first flagship that address the needs for harmonized distribution of tourism flows throughout the territories, using cultural routes as a tool for the creation of innovative and diversified tourism products. So it aims at supporting the development of cycling, walking, and hiking, as well as sailing routes that would better connect all user cultural routes and the region as a whole. So the challenge is really to address regional connectivity on a locally and macro-managed routes. Then there is also the second flagship, Culture Air, that it addresses the needs for structures and harmonized data on cultural tourism, because as we can see, there is really a high demand in the whole region to have really harmonized data that can be shared very easily. Then we have also Dead Air, that is more linked to training and skills. And the main objective is to increase the number of highly qualified employees and entrepreneurs in the tourism sector. And we know we now have an important lack of experts in these sectors, and that there are many jobs available, but especially SMEs find it pretty hard to find qualified employees. The fourth flagship is Cruise Airs, and it addresses the management of cruise destinations, both maritime and continental, so like on river and lakes, and aims at the diversification of the tourism product. Then we have the last pillar, the last flagship, the green mapping of the Adriatic Ionian region, that again addresses the need for a macro-regional coherence in the field of a single system for measuring, mapping, managing, monitoring all the sustainable and responsible tourism, so that it can be implemented through a unique ICT system. So it supports also the development of networks of creative industries, promoting exchange of best practices, and the creation of tourism clusters. So when in organizing this paper and creating these different laboratories in order to have the project ideas, we created a methodology that was developed and shared among all project partners so that we could really find also a unique solution in order to create these new ideas. That, as we also just saw, will be based on the main topics of interest of the user strategy. And then considering that we are working on a cross-border cooperation area as the Interreg program, clustering and networking are for us really the core and a cross-cutting topic that should be in every project idea. So how did we reach to this co-creation, to this co-design lab? So we divided the project partners of BOOST5 into 2 teams, and each team organized 2 laboratories so as to have 4 project ideas, reaching at a maximum of 15 participants involving all stakeholders. So we divided the teams into geographical scope and previous experience, and we worked on Project Canvas, which is a visual tool for having everyone involved understand the project in a very simple way, and it's easy to communicate and to really exchange ideas and have this brainstorming effect. Here you can see some pictures of the different laboratories that were held, and here some others. So as you can see, it's really an easy tool that we use to share our ideas. And the 4 laboratories were held in March 2023. So there was a high involvement of stakeholders representing all the different actors in the territory. And it was focused, so we focused our creation of projects in the Interreg Italy-Croatia cross-border area. So when we were doing the laboratories, the first call for proposals was open. So the one that Ms. Simeon just presented earlier on. And now you also have the indicative timeline for the next call for proposals. As for the partnership to create also this new project, so in our project ideas that we developed, of course, there will be the BOOST5 project partners and the stakeholders involved throughout the project, but also they can be included the participants in the Cross-border Observatory and the signatories of the Memorandum of Understanding that my colleagues from Marko region will present soon after. But there is also an important and interesting tool that is available on the Interreg Italy-Croatia website, which is the partner search, where you can inscribe yourself and explain what kind of organization you are and the kind of partnership you are proposing, and you can find also some other new partners. In, of course, the area of cooperation of the Interreg Italy-Croatia. So the 4 project ideas that we developed all have some different issues to tackle. So the first project idea is Circle Tour, so for a circular system of eco-sustainable cycling routes linking the coastal and interland, engaging local communities, especially in the underwater cultural heritage enhancement and management. Then we have DigiLocal to empower transnational cultural and business collaboration, leveraging voucher schemes and innovative strategies to attract digital nomads to minor territories. We have then Actuator, so an Adriatic network of cultural and natural heritage for the sustainable development of inland tourism, and Valorian for the valorization of maritime industrial heritage in the Adriatic region through the uptake of new technologies. So we'll now have a quick look at each of them. So the first of all was a circle tour, and we will see the challenges and opportunities that it would like to tackle. So cycling tourism is one of the fastest growing tourism branches of the last decade, but the proportion of the population cycling is extremely low due to the lack of cycling lanes, the lack of interconnected cycling infrastructure, and as well the low level of safety and cycling culture. So with this project, the aim is to promote cycling, also because it can help achieve a sustainable tourism system with important environmental, social, and public health benefits. Cycling is also a form of sustainable urban mobility that can be one of the transport solutions during the summer months. And it is important to understand the profile and mobility patterns of tourists so that it can provide a basis for future planning of the cycle network. So the main objectives And the projects are the development of cycle tourism in smaller areas through the creation of eco-sustainable cycle routes, linking coastal regions with the hinterland and involving also the local communities in the innovative enhancement and management of natural cultural assets. It is also very important the promotion of the cultural and natural heritage of the Italy-Croatia region and to raise awareness of environmental friendly and sustainable tourism practices. So by developing the cycling infrastructure, additional tourist offers will be created, with which not only be limited to the peak summer season, but can also be enjoyed throughout the year. So the main actions include the engagement of all major tourism operators to contribute to the creation of a single-track cycle route that will attract visitors and serve as the basis for future development of the cycling infrastructure that needs investment. So the investments in a new and improved infrastructure to better meet the needs of the tourists. There is also the need for a creation of a common system for collecting and analyzing the data on cycle tourism to help identify areas of further improvement and guide future project development. And also, another action that is proposed is the implementation of the infrastructure of underwater cultural sites that will be designed to be accessible to cyclists and provide a unique and memorable experience for visitors. And the creation of a digital platform to link the supply and demand for cycle tourism is also another action that is proposed to be created. So it will connect citizens and tourists with the service providers and streamline the booking process for the cycling tours and related services. The second project idea that came up is called DigiLocal, and it aims at tackling one of the big challenges for the whole region, which is seasonality, because in minor areas in Italy and Croatia, they are confronted with many obstacles. One is how to attract visitors throughout the year and not only during the tourism peak season. Then one of the opportunities that this project sees is to attract digital nomads. So digital nomads are a population of independent workers who choose to embrace a location-independent technology-enabled lifestyle that allows them to travel and work remotely anywhere in the world. So their presence could actually increase revenue for local businesses in Italy and Croatia and help overcome the seasonality problem. But in order to be able to come to our countries and reside there for some months, there is a need to improve infrastructure and connectivity and digital services. So some of the objectives are the promotion and empowerment of transnational cultural and business collaboration, leveraging voucher schemes and innovative strategies to attract digital nomads in the minor territories. There is also, as an objective, the creation of ecosystem that fosters sustainable and inclusive economic growth by connecting local businesses, cultural institutions, and digital nomads, thus creating new opportunities for collaboration and co-creation. So by attracting these digital nomads, the project aims to increase the number of people living and working in these territories, thus contributing also to their economic, social, and cultural development. So the creation of a more diverse and resilient local economy will be also fostered by this project by supporting the development of new businesses and collaboration and leveraging the skills and knowledge of digital nomads as well as the local community. So some of the actions that these projects include are the development of a welcome portal so that it can provide digital nomads with all the essential information such as affordable accommodation, regulation, co-working spaces, and community fora, and digital services with really all the information that they might need before coming to the places as well as while they are in the minor territories. Then there is the implementation of a voucher scheme that will be provided to digital nomads to promote cultural experiences, local tours and accommodation. And it will involve locals, municipalities and tourism companies as well, so as to ensure the promotion of local products and services. And in this way, there is also the empowerment of locals by creating as well some training skills for them involving the digital nomads as expertise providers. Then there is also an improved digitalization of the tourist offers, which is very important and it will make the selected territories more accessible and attractive to digital nomads, but to tourists in general. And then there is the importance of enhanced coordination and collaboration between all stakeholders. A third project that was presented, a project idea, is Actuator. So it also aims at challenging the problem of seasonality and the concentration of flows in certain periods of the year, which is a problem also for the destination and for the economic operator themselves, as this concentration does not generate a broad-based economy. One of the issues that is also linked to seasonality and the fact that there is not a broad-based economy that is generated is the depopulation and abandonment of the hinterland, especially by young people. Something that also our stakeholders pointed out is that there is at the moment a low attractiveness of jobs in the tourism sector, and there is really the difficulty on the one hand to find employment opportunities in the rural mountain areas, but as well to find a skilled workforce. What we realize as well is that sometimes the local communities do not have a wide knowledge of their territory as a whole. So although we have more than 25 centuries of cultures, if we do not know our territory and if we do not create opportunities that might add value to the territories, there will be a lack of experience both for tourists and for locals as well. So what this project proposes is to also make the inhabitants of a territory to become active citizens and actuators, so to become also to support all the initiatives and become the spokespeople of their own territory. So the main objectives of actuators, as we said, are the diversification of tourism flows, so the active engagement of all actors in the territory, so to allow this transformation from inhabitants to actuators, especially within the younger generation, and the involvement of really all actors of the territory, of all stakeholders, with tourism businesses, SMEs that will work together with education providers, thus enabling the development and attractiveness of career paths for young people in tourism. So some of the actions that are proposed by Actuator are the identification of common, lesser-known cultural heritage and natural sites, the creation of an integrated web platform that promotes and networks these lesser-known heritage sites, thus creating also new cultural routes. Learn, so the education and training of stakeholders, especially of high school students, to widen the knowledge of the natural and cultural heritages, both in situ and cross-border. So this activity aims really to raise awareness and to educate them about the local culture and the natural heritage sites, as well as the importance of the preservation and sustainable fruition towards the green transition. So the goal is really to foster a great sense of responsibility and engagement about the youth in the promotion of the heritage site of the Adriatic Mountains region and to promote sustainable tourism practices. Then one of the main activities involves also communicate, so the development of initiatives to promote the lesser-known destination that will involve mixed consortia involving secondary schools, local tour operators, web communication agencies and experts and universities, also to help in the digital transition of these areas. And last but not least, the capacity building and dissemination activities to strengthen the participatory approaches and communication strategies among key stakeholders. So the fourth and last project idea that was developed during the laboratories is called Valorize. So Valorize was to address the issue of main industrial areas, factories, and large segments of industrial heritage that are currently neglected and not so well known, but they represent a great potential for conversion into tourist attractions. It's also important to have research models and possibility of using industrial heritage for tourism purposes and making proposals for its revitalization and conversion. And also the implementation of new technologies and creation of new touristic value and experience, and also integration, these less developed areas that gravitate towards the industry centers on the coast introduce special interesting touristic routes. So some of the objectives are to establish links between regional center of maritime industrial heritage and carry out knowledge and best practice transfers between these centers in the Italy and Croatia area, then to propose models and tools for the local application to support the revitalization of the maritime industrial heritage as a tourist and cultural asset, to support also the training of stakeholders in tourism, and to interconnect the less developed areas in the hinterland with the industry heritage centers of the coast based on the cultural and historical relations in order to develop special interest touristic routes. Among the many actions that the project envisages, there are the mapping of the maritime industrial heritage sites in Italy and Croatia and of stakeholders promotion maritime heritage, building the Adriatic and Maritime Industry Heritage Network, so training and education for the revitalization of these sectors and among all the actors, and an important policy dialogue workshops and elaboration of policy recommendation. So just to conclude, so over the past few years, the European tourism ecosystem has really been confronted with some unprecedented challenges in terms of intensity and duration. So as here we have some 4 examples that through some concrete projects, we can actually act to increase the resilience of the sector by implementing the green transition, the digital transition, and the European skills agenda. The capitalization and lessons that we learned from the 5 projects that are capitalizing BOOST5 have been used to develop these 4 project ideas and can really contribute to putting into action this important transition that will be on the way. So as we see, it is also very important for the tourism ecosystem and the area to diversify, deseasonalize, and delocalize the tourist flow within the area and promote some new and innovative integrated coastal and inland tourism products to maintain the competitiveness of the sector. So all these proposals point to a sustainable, green, and slow tourism development, integrating tourists and local communities to ensure that the sustainable growth of the whole area, where the tourism should be seen as a resource to be managed all year round, and really an opportunity for everyone. There is obviously the further improvement of the regulatory environment that is needed, and public funding can also increase the resilience of tourism ecosystem. And it is important also to realize that there are many funding that are available at European level, but what is maybe needed are really some concrete project ideas that can bring this funding into the territories so as to achieve this green digital transition, and as well to put into practice the European skills agenda, considering that this is the European Year for Skills. So I would like to thank everyone for your attention, and I hope to be able to see you soon in Rijeka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ruggero, for your presentation. I hope you have a nice rest of the program and have a nice rest of the day. I now kindly ask Professor Massimiliano Sergolini from the University of Camerino to tell us more about the initiative called the Permanent Cross-border Observatory. Professor Sergolini, the floor is yours.
We are at the beginning. Is it? We are. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Mario. I am very glad to participate at the final event, because the final event is the beginning of a new adventure, I hope, together. And we have to try a good idea to go in a new direction using the follow-up of this project. This is my attention this moment. So I can move from the last presentation of the colleagues Rachele Ruggero, that take in account some proposal that can be useful to build a new vision, a new way to go in the direction of a new proposal. But I want to take in account the presentation of Anna Peido too, because in a scientific way, scientific methodology, she take in account how we have to deep to study some part of the territory, analyze some part of it, interpreting some part of the territory to go at the topics. So, in this way, me and the researcher Anna Sopina prepared a bit presentation where we consider a new vision of landscape, because we consider that the landscape is essential, is a central element to development with the sustainable tourism territory. So we concentrate our presentation in the sense, new universe of sense that European Landscape Convention define for landscape. The landscape is, I repeat frequently in our meeting, is the interaction between man and nature. And we have to go in this direction. It was very interesting, the folkloristic presentation of in the morning, and it can be useful to consider some physic element in a close interaction with an intangible element. So in this way, now we have the premise in Council of Europe Landscape Convention, and in, I can go in a moment, no. And in the other document that is very interesting to go in a new direction, as is in particular Eusair and some colleagues talked before, I didn't repeat. Italy-Croatia program and the GTS explained very well the vision. European Tourism Agenda 20 and 30 to make tourism greener, more digital, resilient, included, and in this case is close interact with the next generation EU. Transition pathway for tourism, European Green Deal that is in the center of the European and the Italy policy in this moment, and the Council of Europe Landscape Convention. And I remember you that in 2000, Council of Europe approved a new way to consider the landscape tourism, and the interaction between landscape tourism and planning, territorial planning. So we have to take in account all these questions if we want to establish a new vision incoherent with European vision and with a new way of interpreting the cultural and natural heritage. So, we done? So we move from Mediland, that it was, Mediland aims to make the natural and cultural heritage level for the sustainable development of inland area. And in Mediland, we introduce a permanent cross-border observatory And then in BOOST5, the observatory was expanded to other stakeholders. And now we are at the point where, don't go. And now we are in the phase where we can propose new vision, and I don't repeat the presentation of Rachele Ruggero. So we arrive at to describe the idea of permanent cross-border observatory. For me, is not only useful but necessary to go in the direction that my colleagues described in this morning, to have a point, a permanent point where we can collect data, where we can elaborate partnership and with the different vision of different different country of the Europe, and to have a point for experience exchange. For me, is the occasion to have a place where this experience exchange that we take in account in this period can continue to work together and stay together to elaborate new vision. So in this way, Mediland and BOOST5 promote cross-border observatory. And we have the specific objective that is promote and valorize the natural and cultural heritage, enhance the attractiveness of island area, industrial area, creating new economic opportunity. The organization is very easy, and we have a memorandum of understanding. I think that my boss, because I am a consultant of Marche region, then Raffaella Triponsi can give the exact situation of a memorandum of understanding. There is the memorandum where different stakeholders participate together for the permanent cross-border observatory. And now we are in the phase where, we are in the phase where we can make a more wide group for the permanent cross-border observatory. In particular, we are now in the condition of to include other university that came from other area, not only Italy-Croatia area, but other area of Europe, because in the experience exchange is important to know other experience where we can learn new approach, new vision. In this way, I can't change. Can you change for me? Because don't go. Thank you very much. In new direction, we want to create the platform for collecting information about the transformation of a coastal area and exchange with other institutions. In particular, in the next month, I met University of Girona, University of Minho, University of Lisbon. That is in another area, but in the Mediterranean area, where is central the interaction between the natural area and the urbanism area, where the transformation is very intensive. And for me, this is the challenge of the next period, the next month, because we can't think only the cultural heritage as some isolated historic center, some isolated architectonic place, architectonic monument. But the new vision for a new way of cultural tourism, a sustainable cultural tourism, is included in a vision of the regeneration of the peri-urban areas, the regeneration of the part of the city that now is compromised by a not good organization. For me, it's very interesting the day that we walked together yesterday when we visited the industrial area dismissed, where I thought yesterday and this night in which way, in what way we can use that area. It's not easy, but is the challenge. It is the challenge. It is the challenge for Rijeka. It is the challenge because it is a strategic area where the tourism can be important if we are able to individuate a new use. The objective can't be to restore, only to restore. The objective in that area is to find a new use for a new universe of science. So in this way, I think it's very useful for us to try occasion of to exchange experience with other university, with other point of view, with other approach. Raffaella, if you can conclude this interview.
Thank you very much, Professor Sargolini, for presenting us this initiative based on the transnational cooperation. And now, Ms. Raffaella Triponsi will tell us more about expanding the network organizations in this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mario. Good morning once again, everybody. As you know, my name is Raffaella Triponsi. I'm representing here Marche region, in particular the European National Resource Planning Department, with partners of BOOST5 project. First of all, I would like to bring Marche region greetings to the municipality of Rijeka, to the mayor, to the consul, and to all the other representatives and speakers, the JS, and all the partners. As it can be said, Marche region with the University of Camerino is the reference member of this already presented Cross-border Observatory implemented within Medellin project. In particular, sorry. Okay. In particular, the Cross-border Observatory set up within Medellin project is a network, is mainly a network which currently is involving 35 organizations represented by institutional bodies, associations, and other stakeholders which work on the themes of enhancing the landscape, of the sustainable tourism, of the promoting of natural and cultural heritage. The participation of this permanent cross-border observatory is established by signing a memorandum of understanding, which is an agreement, and signing this agreement, the partners will be committed to, and stakeholders will be involved in a long-term network cooperation within this cross-border and based on EU programming periods. The duration of this agreement will cover a first experimental period based on 2021-2027 EU programming and start from the date of the signature of each partners. After that, of course, a tacit renewal could be foreseen. What I would like to underline that the participation of this network is open to other stakeholders, so of course to other institutional bodies, associations or other organizations who already work on these themes of enhancing landscape, of sustainable, of inland areas, promoting natural and cultural heritage and profiting on such opening. Thanks to BOOST5 project, as it can be said, in fact, the network will be soon expanded and upgraded with the participation of BOOST5 partners and stakeholders, whose members we are going to formalize from today until the end of the project within this month. So I really would like to thank all BOOST5 partners for joining the network starting from today. So the partners of BOOST5, you know, are Tecnopolis, Friuli Innovazione, CIPRO, Development Agency of Ferrara, STEPRI, Zadar Canti, the Municipality of Rijeka, and the Regional Institute for Cultural Heritage of Autonomous Regions of Friuli Venezia Giulia. The future of the observatory activities will be so characterized by cooperation and networking among these members, aiming at a more coordinated management of tourism issues in the program area and beyond, as it has been said. So, thanks once again to BOOST5 project partners. The observatory will also provide by a platform to share information and coordinate their efforts, but also this network could be supported by the guidelines presented before for design and exploitation of alternative natural and cultural routes, a white paper to identify possible financial opportunities to promote actions, projects, and also with the first concrete indications on specific topics, as we have seen in project, dealing with sustainable tourism and promoting new cultural routes. So I would like to thank partners of BOOST5 project once again, and wishing us, of course, a soon fruitful opportunity for collaboration, and thanks to the Municipality of Rijeka and Stepri for thank you for your very kind hospitality of these days and letting us know your land and your interesting natural and cultural and industrial heritage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Triponzi, for these kind words. And so we arrived actually at the end of our program. I wish to thank everybody present here in person, just like I wish to thank everybody that watched us online. I wish to thank our speakers and guests, and also I wish to give special thanks to our lead project manager, Ms. Ana Resa, that could not join us today. I wish to thank her and her team for bringing this project after a year to a successful ending. I believe all of us found something interesting, inspirational, and valuable in our program today, something useful for future initiatives on valorization of our rich cultural and natural heritage. So I wish you good luck with your future work, and thank you for participation. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.